Hi, this is your host, Waldon, and we are almost there at the end of 2020 and at the beginning of 2021. And today we have with us our wizard, Brian Waldon, Vice President of Product at Diamanti, with his crystal ball in his hand. But before we talk about 2021, I would love to just remind our viewers what is Diamanti all about, because you guys are going through a transformation to talk about it.
Yeah, thanks, Swap. A lot of people know Diamanti as a hardware or an appliance or an offload company. We've been going through a lot of growth here over the last 1 to 2 years, moving outside of the box, per se, and into the cloud, into more of a software mode of operation. What this really means is our customers are able to adopt our Kubernetes-based platform, both on premises, as they have for a while now, but also use that in a hybrid cloud and even a multi-cloud setup.
What are the biggest challenges companies face when it comes to adopting Kubernetes?
So I think that the vast majority of companies and organizations out there are still seeing a pretty large number of challenges just in adoption of Kubernetes itself. Let's ignore cloud native for the moment. So simply getting to the point that Kubernetes is supportable in an organization has two primary challenges. There's a people and a process perspective here. Like, how do you actually teach individuals how to operate in this new manner? But then there's also a functional aspect. What differences are there in this Kubernetes-based environment versus maybe a hypervisor-based environment that might be in place today? And then how do you implement that to a degree that it's appropriate for production workloads? I don't know exactly how we're going to solve all of those problems. We're going to see a big focus on this in 2021. But I think it's just great that we're even talking about this, honestly. I love being at this point in history where we can talk about how we build the adoption and the momentum that's forming behind Kubernetes. And we've come a very long way since 2014.
One thing that we are hearing a lot is even at AWS reInvent, that a hybrid cloud and multi-cloud is going to be a big story. So how do you see companies using these technologies? What will companies need to do to kind of fully embrace hybrid cloud model?
So hybrid cloud and multi-cloud are again another big focus for organizations that we see out in the real world today. I think we need to maybe temper a little bit of that thirst that we have to get to this true hybrid cloud world. What we see out in the real world, like I said here, is you see people using cloud as an optional deployment location next to an on-prem deployment platform. Maybe Kubernetes running in both locations, but really they're picking and choosing which environment an application might be operating within. But people are using cloud for what they've always used it for backups, for assisting in application failover. But what I think we're going to see, though, moving into 2021 and even later, is more of a focus on hybrid cloud networking. Networking is hard. It's always been hard. Very few people are really good at networking. So I think we're going to see a big focus here just from the cloud native landscape on addressing the needs of networking within a hybrid cloud Kubernetes environment. My advice to organizations adopting Kubernetes today that really want to just put the pedal to the metal is think very carefully about your global ingress and traffic routing strategies, because that's going to come around and bite you if you don't think about it thoroughly from the beginning.
Edge is going to be big. There are so many connected devices, and as we work remotely, there will be even more. So, what role do you see Kubernetes playing in the edge space?
I do think that Kubernetes has a role in Edge. I think that role is forming right now. I see this mistake often that you just assume that Kubernetes cluster can stretch to this kind of global context, and I think we really need to temper that thinking. You see some larger organizations out there. Chick-fil-A and Walmart have both made public statements and even have pretty in-depth walkthroughs of how they've adopted Kubernetes in their retail edge environments. But I think those are very unique. Those are very passionate, very smart people that really want to push the envelope on what they can do with new technology. So I think my advice here, and where I see the focus going in 2021 is really think about how you're managing applications, and how applications are rolled out into these inherently multi-cluster and distributed environments. Looking at projects that are GitOps driven application lifecycle management platforms such as Argo CD are great places to start in solving this problem.
Any major trends that you see in the cloud native space, especially in 2021?
So if I really think hard about where cloud native needs to go and where Kubernetes needs to go, is really this focus back on data and state management. It might seem silly to say this, but we really need a Docker for data. If you look back at what Docker did very well in the 2013, 2014 timeframe, they introduced a fantastic tool set around managing container images. And that's really the legacy of the Docker technology stack at this point. We've seen a number of container runtimes crop up in this space that Docker initially created. So when I say Docker for data, what I really mean is Kubernetes does not really take data as seriously as it does workloads. For example, we have deployments and stateful sets and other higher level concepts within Kubernetes for managing the fault tolerance and scheduling and the lifecycle of applications. We don't have anything like that for managing state. So I think we need to spend more time moving past PVs and storage classes locked to specific Kubernetes clusters and provide more of a global state management platform natively built into Kubernetes.
What is going to be the focus of Diamanti as we talked about earlier, the whole transformation, that momentum will continue, or any other changes that you see with your focus?
We're doubling down on the direction we're going right now. So our platform today encompasses a number of the major cloud providers. We're going to continue building our capabilities out on top of additional cloud providers, in addition to what we have today. From a state and data management perspective, recently we announced our Ultima data plane. We're going to continue to expand what our customers can do in that area as well.
Brand, thank you so much for sharing these insights, these predictions with me, and I look forward to talk to you again. I think maybe next year. So thank you.
Thank you.